Wagwan, Mr. Maps.
Yo, what's good?
What it is, big man? Are you alive and kicking?
Yeah, dog, I'm alive. Barely alive, but I'm alive.
Barely alive, barely alive. But no, we keep on trotting on, keep on keeping on.
Yeah, I hear that.
So they say.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, what's the story?
Nothing, Agwan. We are moving. I'm trying to keep up with these nigger things that has the world, has the world in a chokehold at this moment in time. Do you know how hard it is to keep up with with nigger news?
Did you do your homework on said nigger news?
Yeah. I did my homework. That's funny. You see that tweet? Is it the tweet that Nat sent? That was hilarious. That killed me.
Which one?
Your man has been analyzing the diss tracks all week. He knew what you meant with that text. He's not nonchalant. You're not complicated. He just doesn't give a
How? There was more to it.
There was like a little additional killer blow in a mini thread in the comment section. But that made me laugh. But anyways, I've done my homework as I have to. I've listened to the songs. You know, like when you're not listening to the songs and then you're just seeing tweets flying and think pieces and opinions, and it's very confusing.
Nah, I'm with you on that. Like, it's sometimes if you're not within, it's how I felt before I started watching Shogun. So I'd be seeing all these tweets about Shogun, and then I was like, I'm gonna get to it. It was just on my list, but it was just with stuff that is, I'd say 70% of Shogun is in Japanese, only 30% is in English. So you have to actually clear out time to sit down for an hour and watch it. You can't just, so a lot of other stuff I love anime in dub, because I'm just like, bro, I'm always doing other things, right? Sometimes if it's hot, yes, I'll sit down and I'm like, I can give it 20 minutes of my attention. But if it's one of those, like if I'm watching Bleach or something where that's like, that shit is 50 to 100 and 150 episodes deep or whatever it is, I am not sitting down and dedicating time to that where I cannot do anything else. Like some of these episodes, we're just gonna passively, go through them for the sake of the context. But anyway, before we go too far, guys, welcome back. It is another episode of 6 Foot Weights, your favorite hour with your favorite cheese boys. My name is Thabo.
And my name is Senna.
And yeah, we are here to do the damn thing. I know we're here for a good time. I don't know if we're here for a long time. But yeah, Senna has alluded to what a weekend in hip hop history that we are looking at. So many layers, so many places to start from where we left off. I think let's do big picture stuff, because I'm sure, like with Two Broke Twimbos, they've gone through fully, with the analysis and the little minutiae and whatever. I want to go a little bit more big picture, because if we go into the music, we'll be here forever. I would like to do an episode probably with one of my other friends who's more into hip hop like that. So I don't want to bore you, Senna, to be like, right, Senna, this line right here, what I mean? Like, there's a few we can talk about, but in terms of sometimes if your heart is not in it, right, it's like, come on, dog, like this is
Do you know what? It's not so much heart. It's I think what I'm struggling with. I'm struggling with why sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think, like I said, you said, let's talk about the bigger. I think I'm struggling with the why. I'm like, okay, Nbangani,
Yeah.
Mswakembuli's got this poem where he goes, "Xoleleni ngembuzo mina bengikade ngingekho." And then in the poem he goes, Umgabe no Tony Blair bona babangani, because he'd been coming out of prison, and then he comes out of jail. So he'd been in jail for like 6 years. He comes out, and then Mugabe and Blair are throwing diss tracks across the continent. Hey, when I keep your Zimbabwe. Hey, keep your UK. Hey, you're a terrorist. Hey, white people. You know, so it was during that time. So I think I find myself in that scenario where I'm like, okay, why are these guys so mad at each other? And then I listened to the tracks, because I think there's the ones on Saturday that you said I must listen to, and then there were more after that.
Yeah.
So I listened to the tracks, right? And then I'm like, okay, these guys don't like each other. Or maybe not these guys, because it sometimes feels like Kendrick really doesn't like Drake.
Yeah.
To an extent where it's like anything that is Drake to translate is like something that disgusts him.
Yeah.
Like, yo, dude, like what the hell? But I'm like, why? You know, why? And then if you guys are gonna fling all these, and these are very serious accusations that are now in these new diss tracks, right? It's not just, hey, I hate you, the concept of you, the way you dress.
Yeah. So last week's discussions compared to, so if you're a listener and you listen to what we were talking about last week and what we argued about versus the content of this week's podcast. Right? Seda, you know what's the maddest thing about this whole situation? To me at least. We're in 2024, right? And for better or for worse, there's certain things that our generation has, like there's just certain standards that we're kind of at this point, and I never thought two of the world's most prominent rappers, number 1 and 2, whatever order you want to put them in, would go on a defamation campaign to essentially Me Too each other to death.
Basically.
Like, to me, that is insane. That is actually insane. That the two biggest stars of hip hop, rap, whatever you want to call it, try to Me Too each other.
I actually think you've summed that up perfectly. Actually, they're trying to Me Too each other. It's like,
bro,
we're no longer. So like, hip hop has. And to be honest, and I always lead with this disclaimer, so whenever you guys are like, my opinions on this are dagwat or their left field, it's because I don't listen to hip hop that much anymore.
Yeah.
But it kind of feels like we've gone from like proper diss tracks to people now trying to get someone cancelled.
Yeah.
Like, that's actually the angle that it seems they're going with, right? The thing you can do to someone in 2024 is get them cancelled, not body them in any other way.
Yeah,
because that's what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, again, we'll go right into the details. I give the people a quick overview of the situation, right? As per where we left it last week. So last week, you guys know the diss tracks that had been out by then. It was Euphoria and then Tailor-Made Freestyle, Push-Ups. Those are the only diss tracks that personally I count in the beef. Like That doesn't count, and First Person Shooter doesn't count. I really don't understand people that include those two songs. It's like they were part of the catalyst, but the war started, in my opinion, with Push-Ups. That's where we're like, right, this is what Drake has actually said. Let's go. All that subliminal shit was out of the window. Right, they were swinging, right. So anyway, so those are the tracks that were out, and then just before the weekend, maybe I think either Thursday or Friday, Kendrick drops. Did we talk about Euphoria? Yeah, we did talk about Euphoria. So Euphoria had been out.
Yeah,
that was Kendrick's first response, and obviously there was a lot of reaction to it, positively, negatively, whatever, depending on what side you're on. He followed it up with a back-to-back, right? And that was 616 oh my god, 616 in LA. That was,
listen properly.
Listen. So yeah, he follows it up with that, and it's at that point with that track he's setting up what's about to happen, right? He's laying the seeds to know this nigga Drake is a liar, and again, I'll at the end of this, I want to explain how I viewed, or let me put in the context now. in terms of how I view Kendrick, right? I've always known with Drake, I've always known who he is. So like anything, I don't think I've heard anything right now where I'm like, oh no, there's no way this could be Drake or whatever. Like whether it's true or not true, you don't have any evidence, right? Either side doesn't have evidence. But in terms of accusations and stuff like that, it's like, it's not, if someone brought evidence and Drake is guilty, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, really, you've kind of been an asshole, dog. Like it's one of those. He's not a saint, right? It's not like one of those. Like if someone said, bruh, Twas said I stole money from a bank, I'm like, nah, come on. Like you need to show me video footage, type of situation. So for me, Drake has always been asshole status. Kendrick, for me, again, I would consider myself somewhat of a fan. Not a hardcore fan, but I've been a fan of his music for a while. For me, my favorite album, Good Kid, Mad City. That's where, for me, that is the standard. And all the other stuff, I've liked tracks here and there. But in terms of a full body of work, almost zero skips, that's the album for me. So I know the nigga his pen game is fire, right? But I also thought he was like that extra layer of like, someone who's not really interested in fame. Like he was just like, to me, Kendrick was just an artist of like, okay, this guy's just a rapper, he's a creative genius, and he's not interested in the fame. Yes, he's got money now, but like that's who he was to me, right? Just an average guy in terms of, I just want to live life and be peaceful, like a chakrahan, right? That's what Kendrick was to me. Like a genuinely a pretty decent person in life. Like I felt like if I met Kendrick, he'd be a really, this is a cool dude, you know what I mean? If I met Drake and he was an asshole, I'm like, yeah, it tracks with everything that you do and your rapping and stuff like that, what you say. Yeah, if someone says Drake is a drug addict, I'm like, okay, I can see where you're coming from, right? Based on the life that he lives, right? And what he puts out there of himself in the streets. Anyway, all this to say, the way I see Kendrick now is very, very different. And it kind of, I was saddened, right? Because they say if you sometimes like when you're on a pedestal, right? And if you hold yourself accountable to a certain level and then you come down to where the opposition is, right? In terms of what Drake wanted to involve and say and shit like that, I feel like Kendrick came down to Drake's level and they were both in the mud fighting together. And none of them looked good. You know what I mean? Like from my point of view, Drake, music-wise, yeah, I fucks with your music, is dope. Like, hey, bruh, I'm not here to say anything bad about his music. But in terms of you as a character, you was never on like, hey, this is a good man in my mind. Never, in by any stretch of the imagination that I think, hey, this is a good guy. I genuinely thought Kendrick was a good guy.
Really?
Yeah, no, I did. Again, in terms of the message in his music, the way that, like, again, this is me watching from a distance, Bella, right? So the messaging in his music, all that stuff that he's, doing and like, writing hard for the culture, for black people and talking about like, that whole, like the joke that Drake made is like, you rap like you're still trying to free the slaves, which again, that's a funny bar. I don't care what nobody says.
That's a problematic bar.
No, it's funny. No, it's funny. Like, here's why I say it's funny. This is where people are, and we'll get into this in just a second. There's so much, bro. Like, in terms of social commentary alone, outside of the music, this weekend was so insane, right? Which is like, how do you guys joke about, and I'll say this and let's table it, but how do you guys make jokes about Jonathan Majors and say this nigga looks like he's on the bus with Rosa Parks? And then it's like, oh no, but no, Kendrick is, if someone says he raps like he's trying to feed the slaves, like, it's a joke, nigga, like, we get it. Like, some people, anyway, like, there's a bigger thing, but we'll come to that. I just needed to put that out there. But going back to the timeline. So he drops this track. He's planting the seeds, right? So, hey, somebody's a liar, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, sharp, let's go, right? He's ready to go. Then... anyway, and people know so the whole back-to-back strategy. Kendrick dropped back-to-back. He mentioned that in Euphoria, that back-to-back, I like that record, we'll come back to that. So that was really, really cool in terms of execution. Strategically, Kendrick is a mastermind. That's another thing. Strategically, like, again, I'll outline it for you, Mr. Boy. Right. So now Euphoria is out, 616 is out, then come weekend, right? We're like, okay, we're waiting for Aubrey. Like, oh, but where are you, bruh? Like, people are. It's now the same as when Drake dropped Push-Ups in the TaylorMade freestyle. The Kendrick fans were on the ropes. People were tweeting, Kendrick, where are you, bro? Like, this nigga's dunking on us. Because that was the only music that was out, right? So, obviously, Drake's feeling good. Drake's fans are feeling good. Da-da-da-da. And then, Kendrick's just dropped, then Saturday comes. Drake had a whole music video, bro. And the thing is, conceptually, knocked it out of the park. So, in Good Kid, Mad City, the album art is this minivan, right? On the Good Kid, Mad City album. It's a minivan. I don't know the context of it. I guess he Moteangibo when he was growing up, right? I don't know, whatever. I mean, what else could it be, right? So anyway, there's that car on the album art. And then whilst Drake drops a song, what was it called? Family Matters, right? That's the song, Family Matters. And whilst the song is going, they're taking, I don't know if it's that specific vehicle, but anyway, at the very least, it was the same exact make and color, right, of what was on the album on the album cover of Kendrick's first album, and they're taking it to the scrapyard, and they're crushing it, right? So we see the visual, the symbolism in there, and so like, okay, I'm like, bro, we'll cook it, right? So I woke up to this. I woke up to both diss tracks out. So I wake up. Niggas is blowing up my phone. Phil and Dan are on some, hey, your goat's getting killed, whatever. And then obviously on the internet I've been tagged by Marvin and everyone. Like, probably like it's a mess in my mentions, right? So I'm like, okay, let me just go. I knew as soon as I open Twitter, I'll find what I need to find, right? So boom, there's Drake's album. I'm listening to it. Oh, Drake is spitting, bro. Spitting bars. Like, oh my God, let's go, right? This is who I was looking for. Kill him. Let's go. As Kyle. So at the middle part, I'm like, So it's three parts, three different, I guess, what can we call it? Flows, right? First flow, first beat, amazing. 10 out of 10. Yeah, let's go. Middle, I'll give it a 4 or 5 out of 10. I was like, didn't really land for me. The last part is where he drops the T. He says, allegedly, my man put hands on his wife. Kendrick Lamar did, right? And I'm like, oh. So now it's like, oh shit, like it's done. There's no way, right? So he drops this song in the middle of the night, at least for us, in the middle of the night. Apparently, 20 minutes later, right? Additional context. In the 1616 track, Kendrick mentions, have you ever stopped to think that OVO, which is Drake's label, the OVO niggas are working for me? Right, that was the part that he dropped there. But again, it's like, whatever, it is what it is. Okay, we don't really see what you're trying to get at, right? So at least for me, I heard it as whatever. Then now, 20 minutes later, like, so Drake now has unleashed his haymaker. This was the one that was supposed to catch a body, right? Because you've got the music video, you've got the T, you've got the flow, everything is like pa 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 pa, let's go. This man 20 minutes later drops Meet the Grahams. And woo! I've listened to that song, I think 1.5 times.
That's the one where he addresses each and every
one, bro.
From the sun to the
just like so, like again, conceptually, and this is what, like, for me, no matter what space I'm in, creativity, you always get, if I'm a judge, you'll always get mega points from me when it comes to creativity, right? So with Drake's Family Matters, getting that van, going to the scrapyard and crushing it, I'm like, oh, creativity off the chain, let's go, like, yeah. And then conceptually, in terms of the music, what Kendrick did with Meet the Grahams, going family member by family, started with the Don. It's like, right, son, I'm sorry that man is your dad. Yo, like, that's where we're starting. This is where we're starting.
I wish his dad had worn a condom.
Bro, and I'm just like, then he goes to Drake's father, then his mother. And then Kendrick's Big T is like, hey, this little baby girl. So when he says baby girl, I'm so sorry. I'm like, baby girl? Who the fuck is baby girl? Like, who's he talking about? And then it clicks. I'm like, yo, does Drake have another child? Like he hit another, like bro, like that whole the experience. I wish I recorded myself listening, or there was a recording of me listening to Meet the Grahams, because it, you know that meme, the guy from is it the guy from The Hangover, with all the like the math symbols and all of that, when you're like thinking, yeah, that was me. That was me. Like, oh my god, like no way, oh bro, and like again from a creativity standpoint, right? Kendrick has been pushing this message of Drake is just a horrible individual, right? He's a piece of shit. That's what his whole theme has been. And if you listen to the beat, bro, that awkward note, that bing, 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 like just it just felt like a scary story being told. And then at the end, where he's just like, "Oh, you lied about this, you lied," and then there was that layer, "You lied." Oh, bro, like I was like, "Yo, this is some satanic shit." I'm like, yo, I genuinely got scared, and I was like, you know what? Like this is, at that point, I was like, nah, bro. Like this is like, if I was Drake, I'd have been like, you know what? I'll take the L and go home, because that conceptually amazing by Kendrick. Like that is it's scary as fuck, disturbing as hell, like absolutely disturbing. But also, I had to stand up and be like, ha! And it's wild, bro. Like imagine, Senna. It's you score 4 goals in a game. In any match in football, 4 goals, you're winning 99% of those matches. 99%.
Yep.
But then in this case, Kendrick scored 6. And you lost 6-4. Like that's how I felt. I was like, I saw the first 4 goals go in. I was like, it's over. I was like, it's over. Like, listen, this with push-ups and the tailor-made freestyle plus this is done. Like, I don't care what.
A lot.
It's done. I was like, no, he's finished. He's finished. And at the end of Drake's record, he goes, "You're dead. You're dead." And I'm like, yeah, no, he's
but he
dead.
wasn't.
No, I was like, no, he's dead. But the problem is, he's fighting with The Undertaker. And anyone who's seen WWE, when you hear the boom, that's basically what. 20 minutes later, The Undertaker theme came on. And everyone's like, oh my God, what's going on? And like, again, family member by family member. Yeah. Anyway, so that's happened. We will review all the music as well together. There's 2 more tracks still to go, Mr. Moore. Right. So 20 minutes later, Drake has dropped his bomb. And the thing is, like, you have to think about it like metaphoric. If you've ever seen a bomb go off, right? It expands, right? It's about the damage that it does over a huge radius. But it's like, it's almost as if what Kendrick did was, as soon as the bomb was starting to explode, he came with an even bigger bomb that just blew that. So what Drake had Kendrick let it marinate for 24 hours, I think maybe things are slightly different, right? But the fact that it was 20 minutes later, you've come with an even harder record. I mean, I don't even know if it's necessarily an even harder record, but there was just so much going on.
The mere fact.
Yeah, the concept of what he did was just so, again, trailblazing, at least in my mind, like what Kendrick did. I was like, everyone is focused on this, and it's like, it's over. So and that was the one where everyone was just kind of like, bruh, it's late here. Then I'm thinking Kendrick is done, right? It's like Drake put out his bomb, Kendrick put out his bomb. Kendrick is like, nah, I'm coming into your neighborhood, my guy. Me, I'm the conceptual entendres, hey, Guatintini, Chakrahan, It's like, no. I'm coming, I'm a hit maker, because Drake is a hit maker. He's like, I'm coming here.
I'll also make a hit.
I'll make a hit. He dropped We Not Like Us. Not Like Us. It's called Not Like Us. I think that was the next day.
That was cool. That was boppy,
Bro, I heard that. That was the moment I knew, like, for me personally, that's where I declared a winner. At that point, when I heard that song, I felt so bad, because I was like, yo, this is so catchy. This is even me. I was dancing to that. I was like,
no, it was.
Oh
dope.
my
that
God.
was dope.
No,
that was
no.
dope.
Oh,
and it was enjoyable as a song.
But yeah, anyway, Drake dropped another track called the Hot Part 4, Part 5, whatever the fuck it's called. It was good. I liked it, but I just think it didn't do enough on its own. It's a dope track, but
it's a bit
with
weak.
The context.
But I think
They dropped a hit on your head,
think,
dog.
Yeah, but I think at that point, there seems to be, because I think he added at the end of the Heart Part 6, I listened to it today. I think he said something along the lines of, it's good to get out and get the pen working.
Yeah, I know exactly. He's trying to save faces.
Whatever. Yeah, now he's like, I'm glad. It's like...
These are the things people in the club who go, I didn't even like that hand. She's ugly. Meanwhile...
Exactly.
Like, let's get the pen working. But and here's the thing. With that tune, right, what he was trying to do, and conceptually I understand, he was trying to, and we'll talk about this from a big picture point of view, right? Drake basically said this guy is a domestic abuser, and like, to me, what was crazy. So what he tried to do in that track is reiterate that message. Like, bro, you put hands on your queen. One of your kids belongs to your manager. Like, it's a whole mess. Like, that's such a messy situation, and it's like the internet did not care. Did not. I'll ask Linda to add this. TikTok that one of this I don't know what his name is, the creator. I've seen some of his stuff before on the timeline. It was such an accurate TikTok of the Drake versus Kendrick thing with regards to the internet's reaction.
Part 6, man. I'm finishing this once and for all.
Not it at all.
How is this not it? I literally
You
just
just love them little girls, huh?
He
loves can't get enough.
That's not true. I just said it on the song. That's not
Why
true.
you sound so guilty?
Yeah,
Why you sound so guilty?
So guilty.
Why you sound guilty on the song? Why you addressing that? If it's not true,
Bro sounded real
Y'all
guilty.
just
to me.
told me that I'm addressing everything but the allegations, and now that I'm addressing the allegations,
whatever, man. You're just a colonizer. He a colonizer.
Just using black folks.
Are you even black for
okay,
real?
but what about Kendrick? He's beating his wife. So, Day Free?
I don't know who that is.
You don't care that his wife has a whole nother kid by another man?
We don't know him.
Dave Free, who was that? I don't know. Who knows him? Dave East.
We don't know him. White boy.
Bro, probably making up names. Just lying on King Kendrick.
What you need to do is worry about your 11-year-old daughter that you ain't taking care of.
I know that's
Am
right.
I right? But then I don't even have a daughter. We planted that. We planted the seed. So now you're just making up stories about having an illegitimate kid?
No, who does that?
What's wrong with
bro?
you? What's wrong with him?
That's sick.
Who does so
that?
y'all don't care.
That's sick,
Whatever,
man.
man. We off him. We off him. Let me hear you say,
Hey,
Because everyone, and that's what I'm saying, like, sometimes the problem is, if you live the lifestyle of an asshole, right, and there's certain stories around you, like just kind of the general celebrity stories that are not unique specifically to Drake, but if the industry kind of knows some of these things about you, and then someone goes, yeah, really, low way, and all he does is solicit hookers, then we're gonna be like, it's not a reach, right? It's not a reach. But for me, what was the reach was, if you're saying Kendrick, the person that I thought Kendrick was, is a domestic abuser, I was like, yo, that is absolutely crazy. So I thought a lot of people felt like me, in the sense that, like, there's, like, it's almost like I had a Santa's Not Real moment with Kendrick, right? When Drake, when Family Matters dropped, that was the Santa's Not Real moment. I was like, no way, fam, like, he's actually saying it, like, this happened. So and then now the rest of the internet goes, no, Drake is lying. Like, I'm like, okay, do you have proof? No, we don't have proof, but really, Drake is a lie. I'm like, so like, sometimes when and that's why this weekend I realized, like, if you're not liked, then it's so easy to sometimes be packed up and put away. Like, if generally and we saw this, right? I think maybe we spoke about this on the pod. Skip Bayless, right? Skip Bayless is he's basically set his niche as just being a hater. Right, that's his whole thing. Skip, especially being a LeBron hater, and like, people just don't like Skip Bayless in general. And the funny thing is that people who actually work with him say he's a nice guy. In real life, they say he's a nice guy. But what we see of Skip Bayless on TV is that he's always a hater. He's always looking for the negative in things, right? And then when this football player called Damar Hamlin, I think he had like he went into cardiac arrest on, like, his heart like did something on the field. And they basically brought the nigga back to life on the field. So the game was called off and whatever. And in the moment, Skip Bayless tweeted out, so I forgot what the tweet was. It was something along the lines of, what is this going to mean in terms of the implications for the playoffs? Because they were ramping into the playoffs, right? In terms of the NFL season. And it was one of those things where he covered his bases to be like, yo, this is not to overshadow what's actually going on in the field. You know what I mean? Like, he was one of those guys, I see it's a horrible situation, right? but what's the, you know, in terms of the playoff picture type of, you know what I mean? That was kind of the way he put out his tweet. So for me, I was like, oh, I get what you're saying. You know, it's wrong time, read the room a little bit, but it wasn't offensive at all. I did not believe what Skip did was offensive. But because so many people don't like Skip, bruh, they crucified that nigga. On the, like they cooked him. They cooked the guy. It was bad. And to me, I got the same exact vibes with Drake, where I was like, people just don't like this guy, man. They just don't like him. It's crazy.
But now, do you think, maybe once we come into the sort of the broader concept, do you think, so there's this thing in wrestling as well, right? There was a period in time where people didn't like John Cena. That was because, it was unfortunate, right? Because it was a time when he became the face of the WWE, when basically a lot of legendary superstars retired, left the company, stepped down. So our Shawn Michaels, Undertaker started taking a reserve role, Triple H as well. And then Cena became the guy, and he was just the guy, and he'd always be winning. He was always top ratings, whatever it is. Do you think there is, and we saw it with, I actually think at times with Messi we see it sometimes, right? Do you think there is sort of that fatigue that comes with being the best and the most successful, where actually people just get tired of you, right? Okay, we're tired of Drake being best-selling, whatever. We're tired of Drake being most successful. We're tired of Drake having the most money. We're just tired of Drake. Do you think that fatigue also sets into how people will view him and how they've analyzed this beef?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I thought about that, and I thought, you know, in my mind I was like, you know, that actually makes a lot of sense, because at the end of the day, with especially when it comes to sustained success that Drake has had, no matter what you think of it, it's been a sustained level of success. And even maybe he drank his own Kool-Aid, right? Thinking he's untouchable with some of the stuff that he was now doing and pissing off other contemporaries in the rap game and hip hop and whatever. I think we get there with everything, right? Like, if you win too much, even as a sports team, right? Like, why do you think, you know, we all hate Manchester United? Like, you niggas used to piss us off. Like, if you guys only won the odd Champions League or Premier League, especially Premier League, you know, here and there, right? If Fergie wasn't Fergie, then it's like, we don't really have venom for United like that, right? But the reason why, for me, it tickles me every time you guys are in despair. 4-0 Crystal Palace, shout out. But like, it's because there is that level of success that just made you miserable, right? And and that's what I'm saying. Like, I've never thought I'd be in a society where someone goes GBV and niggas go, inside. The Dave Chappelle did it. I don't think he did it. But even if he did do it, you know. Like, that's collectively as an internet, that is what happened. And I just sat there and I was like, guys, like for real. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to me. Like, how are we okay with this? You know.
Yeah. So what I actually wanted to come to is, I think some of the stuff that's been said on these diss tracks, right? The reason why, then in the beginning, remember my first question was, okay, why?
Yeah.
What are you guys actually fighting over? Right?
Yeah.
What is it? Because these are very serious accusations. If you're going to say you're a pedophile, like that's not something that we can
a small thing
over rap lyrics, right? It's not something we can just put out there and then, oh, you got bodied. No, that's something where
Senna, you know what? One of my thoughts, I was like, Kanti, you guys are running to microphones, the two of you. Usually I say they both look bad to me. The two of you ran to microphones instead of to the police, the authorities.
Like, if you find out that, okay, the biggest superstar in the world is trafficking young girls and is trafficking drugs and he's having sex with young girls, I mean,
yeah,
it's one thing saying, I don't like who you have sex with, I don't like your baby mama.
Yeah.
Like, that's a valid criticism of Drake. I think we said that.
I don't think that's a valid criticism.
No. It's valid in the sense that you can bring it to a mic.
Okay. Do
you get what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
In the sense of Uguti, it's mic worthy, right? I think when you're now going into, okay, drug trafficking, underage girls, and all of these things, you're calling me Epstein.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird to bring
Guys,
that to a mic.
Crimes cannot be a
and
joke,
make
guys.
it, yeah, it can't just be, oh, and then after that, right? And maybe it's a reflection on us as people. The moment that stuff is said, people are like, oh,
Yeah.
he bodied you.
Yeah.
And, we're looking at it as, oh, it's gossip, it's stuff that came out, blah, 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 yada, yada. And then we're all like, no, but hang on, dude, that's a very serious accusation. Like,
Yes.
if you're beating your baby mama,
Like,
and
bro.
you're a domestic abuser, like that's something where
Like, people are in
it's
jail
bigger
for
than
that
just
shit, bro.
raps. It's bigger than just poems and lyrics and all these things that they one up in each other for.
Charlemagne made a joke on Breakfast Club, I think earlier this week, where he was like, bruh, I'm sure the people who are actually in prison for this shit were listening to these songs like, so you guys in jail, you're just out here throwing this shit out. Me, I'm serving a life sentence, and you niggas are out here talking all this rapper, all this nonsense for likes and public opinion. Like, I don't know, man. Like, just when they started involving Meet the Grahams and Family Matters, those two tracks, right? Those were disturbing on both fronts. And I again, in terms of public reaction, I could not believe, just how, for the sake of, no, we want to make sure that you people know Drake lost. Like, for me, it's like, if I'm a fan of his music, however, like, if he loses the beef, I'm not going to, it's very different from, like, Chelsea losing a game. Chelsea can lose a game and I genuinely, mentally, I'm not okay. Like, my chest, it's like there's something heavy on my heart whenever these guys break my heart. Like, and even the Lakers. I'm still recovering from the loss to Denver. Like, the fact that Denver's getting their ass handed to them is doing something therapeutic for me right now in the playoffs. But, like, that kind of shit it shouldn't affect me, but it affects me, right? However, Drake, he's not one of those things. Or, like, I stopped with celebrities. I need to do it with sports teams. But with celebrities, very, very long time ago as a kid, I said, all these guys are full of shit. I'd seen too many beefs where people are cussing each other out and a year later they've got an album together or they feature on each other's tracks. Like, so I've just never put anything in Hollywood. I try not to put any stock because I think it's all, like, the conspiracy theorist in me, Senna, is like, what's the bigger angle here? Like, above these two rappers, like the heads of Thabo Universal Studios or whoever it is, the Illuminati. Like, what's the, that's the conspiracy theorist in me. What are we being manipulated here collectively to not see? Because it's just, some of the stuff is like, you think about timing, you think about, and it's just, I don't know. But I just think, guys, like, it's scary that we can, as a collective, pick and choose what very serious crimes or allegations we are going to
get outraged by.
That to me, like, when they both said that Saturday, I think what should have happened as a society collectively is that people should have been like, nah, both of you, time out. It should have been, again, Kendrick saved it a little bit and brought it back to the fun side of having beef with the Not Like Us track a little bit. Like, that was like, okay, he got people dancing and laughing. Like, he had the little, and what's funny is that people are like, oh, Drake in his raps, he was just making stupid little jokes and, calling Kendrick short and size 7 shoe. But you know what made Not Like Us a hit is the stupid little jokes that Kendrick made. He came to,
like, I can
making a hit
that.
record there's a formula to it, guys. If you make your shit too complicated, it's not going to be a hit, at least for the most part. Right? You have to simplify a lot of things. And it's like, it has to, like, VHO, step this way, step. Like, it's like, oh, cool, it's catchy. Like, he affair. Like, again, OVO, other vaginal option. I was like, really? That's stupid. Like, that's primary school shit. But hey, primary school shit is catchy. You know what I mean? So I was like, I don't hate. I'm not going to hate. Like, you made me laugh. You made me dance. And it's a hit. We're gonna hear it in the club and we're gonna get down. Like it's just one of those things. So shout out to you for being able to do that, right? Especially, and this is me who was supporting Drake at the very least on the onset. But hey, with those two tracks, I think I don't know. It was dense, bro. It was dense. I don't know how they recover the two of them. Look,
I don't know. I'm not sure if they'll recover, but I know. Do
you think it'll blow over?
One comes out looking. Yeah, it'll blow over, but history has a very funny way of looking at things. So in the moment, we probably don't see what the effects will be for their legacies and their reputations. But I don't think Drake comes out of this looking too good.
I don't think either of them come out looking good, bro.
Yeah, but I think Drake comes out worse.
How so?
I think he comes out worse. This is a few years after the Pusha T thing.
Mm-hmm. So when you say looking worse, what you mean in what context? Like, let me, maybe I don't understand what you mean.
So, okay, some of the things that were said, I think I said this last week as well. Some of the things that were said about him, like one of the lines I think from the last song was, you're not a colleague, you're a colonizer. So he's still drumming onto that theme that, look, you're not part of the culture. And that's fine, right?
Yeah.
A few years from now, let's say 5 years from now, in 2029, right? When we reflect on this beef, what do you think people's lasting impression will be? Will it be that, Kendrick's an abuser? I don't think so. The internet is you start having his fans saying, no, but he's never been arrested for anything, right? And then Drake fans will be like, and then Kendrick fans will be like, no, Drake's a pedophile, right? Yeah. He does this, he does this. And then Drake fans will be like, no, but that's defamation without proof. Bring the proof. I mean, like, proof would exist. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, which is what I'm saying. Like, but hold on. So quick question from a low point of view, because I wanted you specifically to touch on that. Like, again, if it was me, either me Drake or me Kendrick, if you flat out lied, is this not liable for a defamation case?
Yeah, it could be. It definitely would be. Only because you're saying something, especially in 2024, right? If you're going to say to me, you're an abuser in the Me Too era, then you better have evidence and your facts straight. Otherwise, it could be something that could cost me many opportunities. And same thing with Drake. If you're saying I'm a pedophile, which is probably even worse. I mean, that's something that could...
Not you trying to rank struggles.
I'm not trying to rank struggles. No, but I think literally... when you look at crimes, dog, the crimes aren't the same. There's a stand-up sketch I think I was watching on Netflix. I forget this white guy who was saying, it's controversial. Remember that these are not my words. But he was saying that murder is worse than rape, but then the way that we've normalized talking about murder and killing and death is too easy. For example, you have the movie Kill Bill, right? It's on Netflix now, and I watched it the other week. You have the movie Kill Bill, or To Kill a Mockingbird, or Death Row Records. Do you know what I mean, right? Murder and death is a bit normalized in our society.
John Wick.
Now, John Wick, it's all kill, whatever.
Yeah.
But then once you have rape, you replace kill or death with rape in all those titles. It sounds remarkably worse. Like, it just sounds 10 times worse.
I think that's
crimes.
very. I think there's petty crimes and then there's crimes. Like, they're all. You can't tell me that this is worse than, especially like what you referenced, because it's like it's worse for who, right? Because obviously, if someone goes through such a traumatic experience and they have to live with it for the rest of their lives, to some other people, it's rather kill.
They'll be like, I'd have rather died.
Yeah, but it's like you can't really rank these things.
No, you can't. But I think in law, there'll always be a difference.
Yeah.
You won't get the same number. You won't get the same number of years for a certain crime than you would for others.
Yeah.
So basic facts. If they were to both appear in a court of law for what they're being accused of, one is going away with a restraining order, a fine, community service at worst. The other one is going away for a very long time. I mean, Rihanna, did Chris Brown go to jail? He was arrested and then a restraining order, and he was in jail for a little bit, and that's it.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I guess if you're looking at it from that legal point of view, I'm just saying the protections against children are much higher, right? And then obviously across the board, like in one of the songs, I don't know if it was it Euphoria, where he was just like, "Oh, Steph Curry, keep your kids away. LeBron, keep your kids away." I was like, like it was, he's really, really tarnished the brand, which is what I'm saying. Like, if there is zero evidence of Drake moving that way, personally, to win, not even to win the beef, to just, the only way things can go forward for me is that you have to sue. You have to sue, bro. Like, you can't. Yeah, so there's no way you can say that shit about me and it's baseless. Because now, if there's no lawsuits as well on either side, both were telling the truth. That's kind of where my mind is going to go. Which again,
so my thing, bring it back to the conversation we're having was in 5 years from now, right? All these respective fans will probably be like, "Oh yeah, you don't have proof. Oh yeah, you don't have proof." And then what's going to be left is what was said outside of these allegations, right? Because I assume they both won't be in jail in 5 years' time. Then they'll be like, okay, what else was said? And then you look at, okay, Kendrick said all this about Drake and you're not being black enough and being a colonizer and all these things and blah, 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 yada, yada.
Yeah.
I think he comes off looking worse long term.
Okay. I think, it's quite sad for the two of them. Like I said, they both look dirty at this point. And
100%.
It is one of those things where, for the most part, it was about the music and the jokes and, them going back and forth at each other. But then that aspect of it, even like, again, talking to Kendrick, Drake's mom didn't do nothing, right? His kid didn't do nothing. Like, that's, Kendrick has basically set up traumas, especially for the kid, right? For Adonis, where if he goes to school, it has to be a very, very protective environment. You can't just send him to, not that he was going to go to any school, but like, I feel like kids are assholes at all levels at any schools, right? So like, he's gonna, his life path has been altered based off of what has happened and what has been said about his dad and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, Kendrick, you're a father as well, right? Do you, like, irrespective of beef and stuff, like, which is why, like, for me personally, I wish we lived in a world where Kendrick just decided, like, look, I'm a father, you're a piece of shit, but I'm not going to let you drag me to this level. Like, my own kids are looking at me. Yeah, like my own kids, like they're looking at me. You know what I mean? Like I go to them, and because in his, what was it? I think it was Euphoria, where he talks like, yeah, you don't know nothing about being a good dad, like teaching to be a man and pray and all that shit. It's like, you, Kendrick, are saying that, but at the same time you're eviscerating somebody else's dad, and you're mentioning that somebody else, that child who did nothing to you. Right, so yeah. I get it. Like it's revenge, it's beef, there's all these other things, but it's just there were so many, I guess, ironies where I was looking at Kendrick's, because it's I don't want people to interpret me as I'm not caping up for Drake. I'm just saying I knew you were low down, you know what I mean. Like, I didn't rate you as a person or rate. This didn't, it was an epiphany moment. But for Kendrick, this was an epiphany moment where I was like, Chief, like, I don't know. Like, in as much as, and like, the J. Cole stock is through the roof. The roof! Right, I'll publicly apologize.
Decided
Chief,
early on,
whatever jokes we made with Kandoro, and even between me and you, that those weeks where you apologize, like, bro, I respect J. Cole so much right now, because, hey, he saw that. And it's like, for me, I don't know if J. Cole has kids or not, right? But if he does, or when he does have kids, imagine growing up and that's your dad, bro. Like, he saw a moment where he could have just done it for whatever, for the cultures. People are like, hey, culture, hey, whatever, right? And he's like, nah, like, this didn't sit right with my spirit. Like, it just, no.
And we've seen
wow, man,
how messy it's gotten, right?
Yeah, no, and it's like, even without the mess of it, it's just the being enough of a man to endure public ridicule, but to know that, I'm being true to myself. No, that's, and I think, honestly speaking, and maybe this is God's work, and like, as a collective, we needed to learn this lesson, right? With everything that J. Cole did, and then what these two guys did, right? We needed to learn that lesson publicly, of at least as men, to be like, guys, like, this machismo thing, it ain't worth it. Flexing, guys, is not worth it. Like, I'm genuinely reflecting. Like, this past few days, I've been reflecting. Like, yeah, I know. Like, it's this. A lot of this shit is not worth it in life. And like, I have a kid, I have a wife. Like, it's like, how do you try to move in a way that's like, they look at you and they're like, yeah, nah, that's, that's being a man.
But do you not think he got a heads up from someone that could get messy here? J. Cole.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think people were like, someone, hey, bruh,
maybe on Kendrick's team to be like, hey, bruh, the smoke that Kendrick has for Drake, I don't think you're trying to be here. This nigga's burning down the house.
Maybe, and because then, also J. Cole was never like, he was a stray, like he was collateral damage, right? So this was oncoming traffic, and this was that random gaga on the highway. You know what I mean? That like its tail got a bit hit or whatever, or maybe the leg, right? But and then it just got out of the way. So there was really no need for Drake to come into the equation. Like, genuinely speaking, no one was looking at J. Cole like that to be like, hey, Chief, we need you. He fired himself, where a lot of people were like, okay, Usus Fagile, game on, right? If you're in, you're in. That was kind of what it touches a move. Let's go, right? That's how the people. That's how people reacted. So when he pulled out, it was like, no, bro, because we didn't even know the extent as well, right? So that's why also the jokes flew, because we're like, Chief, bro, it's just, we were still thinking in the context of who's number one, right? In the sports context of like, nah, that's bitch behavior, bro. Like, why would you pull out? Like, you say you're the best, put your pen to the paper, right? With the rest of these guys. Now we see where it went. And we're like, actually,
you were good.
You were good.
Well.
Like, yeah, you did a good thing. You did a good thing, my guy. Like, I genuinely, like, huge respect for J. Cole, because, so it's hard, bro. It's especially as a famous person. I don't know how he. I'd like, if he had like a podcast or something where he would talk about, like, after that Dreamville Fest when he made that speech. I'd like to know what happened, and for him internally, how did he feel? And then also the people around him, his fear of influence, like how did that happen? Like how did you work your way through? Did you feel bad? Did you feel like shit? For bowing out, like. But yeah, I'd be very curious about this. But anyway, back to the people that we are talking about here. Well, is there any other talking points that we missed? Freaky ass nigga here, 69 God.
I wonder. So at the moment, what are people waiting for? People are waiting for Kendrick to come back with something.
No. I think it's done, bro. I think, because so Drake also sounded like and Safudi type of thing.
Yeah.
So, and Joe Budden was he was having the time of his life, because he was like, nah, nigga, you went from, like, in the TaylorMade freestyle, he was talking to Kendrick, like, nah, nigga, you ain't ducking smoke, let's go. Like, that was Drake's energy too. Nah, this was some good, what did you call it? Pen work. I needed that. Like, yeah, Chief is got no.
And he's like, it's like, oh, I'm glad I got your fans to pull up with. I'm glad I got you to release more stuff for your fans. Disappearing for 5
seconds.
Like,
to be fair,
dude,
Kendrick fans need to respect Drake, because this has never happened ever. This has not happened in terms of Kendrick dropping like this, like that. It's never happened, bro. So Drake, it is. I'll give him points for that, but like, hey, was it worth your your image, dog? Because I mean, and again, this is what, when Drake dropped Push-Ups, right? the person who got hit the hardest in that track was Metro. Metro booming, like, hey, what is it? Metro, shut your hoe ass up and make some drums, nigga. Like, and now everyone was going around saying that to Metro, right? Now Drake is in trouble because it's gonna be said, "Oh, ho," like that is gonna be a thing. That's the problem when a hit gets dropped on your head, and again back to back, people were coming at Meek Mill. Is that a world tour or your girls tour, right? And then make sure you hit it with the prenup. You know, like there were so many quotables in back to back, and like when you get hit with that, it's one thing like. Meet the Grahams was too dense and like just dark, right? So a lot of people are not going to go back to that song, right? However, not like us. That
people
one.
are going to bop to that.
That one was for years, dog. Not even for a summer, for years. That one is going to be and especially when you're as big as Drake, because Drake is still. I don't know if Kendrick go to the club like that. He seems like a person that doesn't go to groove, right? But Drake, he goes to groove. So now what's the situation?
He's going to hear that ish.
That's the problem. And that's what I'm saying. Kendrick came into his neighborhood because now where you operate and spend your time, this fire record that DJs are going to have on repeat, right? This is like when Mtwimbini dropped, right? Izolo, like all these other, Joe, like so many tracks that are just like, you know, when they drop every DJ will play it 10 times, right? This is one of those tracks.
And that's good. And we shall see.
Yeah. But anyway, there was another point that I wanted to quickly make. In terms of the state of hip hop, right? Like I think there's naming people like, and the problem is Pusha T did this, right? With revealing the what's this thing called? That Drake had a son. And I think people have made that the poster child in a way of like, so like if for like Rick Ross as an example, right? He goes, oh, Drake got no surgery and he got his abs are fake and stuff. That's fine. It's about Drake. That's fair game. Anything about you, if you are in the limelight, anything is fair game, right? But yeah, like I didn't like how uncomfortable I felt on both sides with Drake mentioning, you know, because that's a, you know, a woman, innocent woman who's living her life, who she's not a rapper, she's not in the limelight. Drake's parents, Drake's children or child's, you know, Kendrick's kids, like it's you know, and now the thing is, you say these things and like obviously the internet is gonna go and research all these things, and they're on their Instagrams and like all this, you know, there's crazy people out there, right? You don't know who's consuming this music, and like people can get a bit chaotic with all this type of stuff, and it's like, I don't know, man. I just think it's such a dangerous position to put. It's almost like, you know, in superhero movies, they're like, you have a secret identity because you don't want your loved ones to be held hostage. You know, it's that type of energy, and I don't know. I think both of them, you know, as if this is what hip hop beef is in terms of, you know, I don't. And again, I don't know, because like you think about the other songs, it's like, I don't know. First thing that Tupac said is like, first thing, fuck you, I fucked your bitch. Like, you know. And the thing is, like, go back to Chris Brown's this track he's talking about. You know, I was with what was Saweetie or whatever. Yeah, you know, like it's just when loved ones are the butt of a joke, it's just I don't know. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Is all. Like I don't know how to feel about that.
So what I did following that, I think I saw a tweet from Ice Cube's son a few weeks ago where he said
the oldest one.
Yes, the oldest one, the one who acted in Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah,
I think he said something along the lines of, "Look, for us, back then, I think Ice Cube released No Vaseline. I think he wrote it in the afternoon. But I listened to No Vaseline." And I look at that, and it's the people were just throwing like insults at each other. You know, I don't think there was anything there about kids and all of that, and so they always seems like gloves stay on.
No, but you know the important
like
context.
A few
of this
untouchables.
The context is back then, right? Social media, the internet access, it didn't exist. So even if someone says, "Hey man, I was with your girl" or whatever, who's your girl, right? So like if you're not plugged in, or that person's partner is not like also in the limelight, right? So like if you look David Beckham, Victoria Beckham, like so we know Victoria as much as we know Beckham, right? But like in most people's cases, you just hear they have a partner, you don't know who they are, right? Unless they popped up in a newspaper. Like the way we consume shit, it was if it's not in the newspaper or the magazines, where are you going to see them, right? Like that was the society that we lived in way back then. Now I think it feels a lot more uneasy because of not just what you say, but because of what it triggers, right? The investigations by strangers who are going to start posting theories and like, bro, there were so many random ass theories people were making to try and stitch things together.
Yeah, and then posting pictures of poor 11-year-old girls who have nothing to do with this.
Yeah, apparently they found the girl,
like, this one
like from wherever, who's the mother, and like here's the child, she's turning 12, like, bruh. Like, and then imagine if it's a completely fabricated story. Imagine waking up and saying, "Oh, it was a yeah, Patrice Mtsepe's son," and everyone's hitting. Everyone's hitting.
Like, I'm chilling in my house,
bro.
Next thing, I'm trending.
Your pictures everywhere. He calls himself the favorite lawyer. Hey, he does IP. Hey, bro, and it's like, what did I do? Like, you know what I mean? What do you say fuck me for? Like, that's really the energy. It's like, but in this case, it was I think it was significantly darker and uncomfortable, and I don't know. I just feel bad in terms of what is the aftermath of this within their families, right? That's what I don't. That's what kind of makes me feel bad in terms of the families that have to operate. There's loved ones, there's kids, there's very innocent people,
especially kids.
No, that's where none of this is funny in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, I really overall I just wish Kendrick pulled the J. Cole. I really, even if it means Drake parades around thinking that he's got a victory, I think for the sake of who he is as a person, at least who I thought he was, right? And he marketed himself, right? Yeah, I think that image, for me, that's not who I see. Does it mean that I hate him? I don't know. But it's just one of those like, I guess you're just like the rest of them. Like, that's kind of what my reaction is. Like, I was stupid for thinking that, there could be an artist who is above all of this nonsense and isn't stuck in that rat race of trying to be relevant and shit like that and all of that. But anyway, I think we've talked enough about these Americans. Oh yeah, fuck. See, guys, 2 more minutes. Just give me 2 more minutes, guys. But like, this whole thing of Drake is a culture vulture and he's not part of the culture, all this other shit. It's like, Americans are very. I think part of what Kendrick had the public opinion, in terms of just the public sentiment, right, belonged to, once Kendrick started releasing music, almost completely belonged to Kendrick, if you're just going by internet metrics. And I think Americans have masterfully done this thing of like, we are Americans, and if you're not American, like, using the fact that Kendrick is half black, right? Not Kendrick, Drake is half black, and he's from Canada. Like, I think these things worked against him, and Kendrick was able to push that culture vulture angle. And I see that with Americans are very guarded, right, about a lot of random things, like to the point of like, you can have like a Phil, right? Phil is a hip hop enthusiast, big into hip hop and shit like that. I think he even has his own label or something like that, right? So he's a very knowledgeable person when it comes to the game, right? If Phil, blew up and all of a sudden he's all over the place, he becomes the Don Jazzy levels, right? And Americans catch note of that, like in terms of the broader public. That same narrative can be pulled, like, no, you're not part of the culture, you're from Zim, and Yeah, what? Like Americans like to do that thing, like where they draw that line. But you ain't black. You didn't. Not that you ain't black, but you didn't grow up here. You don't get it, right? We are this. You are that. They like to draw these like, and it was when I was there, like I saw it, which was funny because like all the, especially with like black people, there was we're black, you're African. There was a distinction, and then the funny thing is, the non-black people were just like, all of you guys, niggas. that was nigga. Yeah, so you sit there, you're just like, so these guys all look at us and they're like, we don't care if we do it in Zimbabwe, like, nigga is nigga, right? And then between us, it's like, no, my black is different from your black. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just America is just a special place, man. Like,
no, it is a special place. But in defense of Americans, I think most people do that actually. Remember the whole fight about the Yanos as well.
Oh yeah, South Africans.
But that's also because Nigerians were also going far with it. But there is that ownership and that, it's exclusive, it's ours. You can't just be an outsider, come in here and become the most successful person at it. It doesn't work that way. So I think there's always just humble yourself, and I think Drake doesn't do that naturally. But then also the way he moves, if they don't like it, then they'll always call it up. And so I
think they look they came for him. they came for him hard, and that's the thing with success, guys. No matter where you are in the world, even if in Zimbabwe, like if you are rich, well, Zim is a different issue because typically if you're ultra rich, there's a lot of funnies that go on in the background. But like if you just make it, if you're just successful at any level in anything, if you're people love the come up. Everybody supports you on the come up, right? Like our pod growing, getting bigger and all that kind of shit, and it's like it's almost always positive feedback. That's how I know we haven't made it. I think I've said that on the pod before. I know we haven't made it because it's like 95% of the feedback that we ever hear is always positive about how you guys are doing great and all this other shit. Then 5% is when we don't drop episodes, and then all of a sudden what devils, right? But like, but other than that, that's why I'm like, no, we haven't made it. When we have made it, the haters will be there. They'll chest out. Like, nah, you niggas ain't shit.
And like I said,
your podcast is just the haters will come out. Like, if you have no haters, it just means you're not grinding to the level that you need to be grinding.
People get success fatigue. I guess the thing.
Absolutely.
Like, everyone just gets tired of a winner.
Yeah. We see it all the time in sports. You win a triple. It's too much. Like right now, City is City's in a very interesting to kind of transition us out. It's in a very interesting position where it's like we all dislike the other fan bases more than we care that City's going to win a 4th straight Premier League title. So that's one of those, like, those few grey moments in life where it's like we don't hate City winning everything quite as much as we would hate seeing Arsenal put their hands on that trophy.
We just don't care.
And to be fair, you know what? I like Arsenal. Personally, I really like Arsenal. I like the players on there. It's their fans. Their fans don't deserve it. That's the only reason I don't want them to win. But otherwise, like, so genuinely as a team, they don't piss me off.
I think Arteta is the best young manager in the world right now. But
wait, where are you leaving Graham Potter in this equation?
I go over serious. I think the city thing is interesting because I said something last night, and I think I was having a discussion with someone about it. You know, when we're watching Bayern and Real Madrid, it's two imperfect teams, right? You've got a 34-year-old veteran in midfield, 34-year-old right back. You've got Thomas Muller on the bench. You've got the world's best striker, the world's best winger, in my opinion. It's imperfect teams with legendary managers, a manager who's already been sacked, and all these like local guys like Nacho and even Joselu, the guy who won it. It almost feels like with City, there's like it's a machine, right? There's just the best coach with the best centre forward and the best number 10 and the best young English player, best right back. I don't know who they have at left back. Well, they've got centre backs for left backs. But you look at it and you're like, there's just nothing there. Even if they win, we're like, you guys just have the best everything. There's no story. There's no... Even the style of play is just keep the ball. It gets boring. That's why we don't care. Or many people don't care.
Yeah. No, I hear that. Anyway, I wanted to spend a few minutes bitching about life right now. So as you know, I mentioned this last week, that my car is out of commission, and it's currently going through some repairs. Hopefully we'll be back shortly. But for in the meantime, Mans has been driving a rental in it. A Suzuki Baleno. It's like a hatchback. It's bigger than a Picanto. I'll give it that much. It's probably the size of your car.
Why don't they? Side note. Why isn't? I know here in South Africa, if your car's a Merc, your insurer gives you a car at the relevant tier. So is it not the same in the UAE?
It would need to be. I think for Merc level cars, Mercs, Beamer, then obviously you're looking at 2022, 2023, still on service contract type of cars. Then maybe. But generally, insurers just kind of will have a deal with Avis or whatever and be like, just give him a car. So you really need to look at guys. Look at the contracts in your in insurance locals what they say, because some of these things it's actually quite funny. But anyway, my whole point of bringing this up is that I wanted to bitch about you don't know what you have until you don't have it anymore, man. First of all, it's just got a reverse camera, no 360 camera, no blind spot detection. My head is on a swivel these days. It's just, I still would check my blind spots, but it's just knowing I've got no protection is a bit scary. I had sensors, so if I put on the cruise control, right, if it gets too close to the car ahead, it would automatically slow down. This one just goes, bro. But I was
heartbreaking.
I put the Audible cruise control on the way to work one of these days, and I was like, okay, Chubuti, the car lens must be less for this car. But I almost hit someone because I was like, this one was just pushing forward. So there's no sensors, even though the car does have parking sensors, which is Suzuki. What do you guys do? And then what was the other thing that annoys me? The radio system is not that great. So even playing music is I've started listening to more podcasts because it's just not.
It don't slap the same.
No, it's no longer a disco. On my rides to work, right? Sunroof on Kulumi, no panoramic sunroof, leather seats.
You have serious problems right now.
No, talk. I'm being so serious right now. What material are these seats normally? I don't even know what the hell the material is.
It's not leather.
It's not leather. Whatever. You guys know. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Normal seats. I spilled some water on try again, man. I spilled some water on the seat, right? My gym bottle was leaking, and then I got home, I had to pick up my wife, was gonna drop her off somewhere, and then she's like, the seat is wet. And in my mind I'm like, I just need to just wipe it, right, with a tissue or whatever. Thing is so. Now I had to go into the house and get a towel for it to sit. Bro, I was like, no. It's just. And then that power of when I need to overtake someone, it's now I must conquer the other. I must think 2 minutes before I want to overtake that I want to overtake, so that I build up enough momentum in the car. And it's I hit 120, motor is shaking. Listen, Suzuki is a reliable brand, but I wouldn't say my it's just, oh my god, the worst part of all of this, no push to start.
Oh,
I'm using actual keys Yeah, I have to must turn the key. Like, bro. No. Like, it's this is actually so sad.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sad for you.
Can I just give people context? Can I just give people some context about myself? I love driving. Right? And I live right now. My commute to work is anywhere between 35 to 45 minutes. Right? Standard commute to work, 35 to 45 minutes. That is a long time to be in a vehicle. So for me, I will invest more money in a vehicle that I love and I'm comfortable in because of these reasons, right? If I'm going to be in the car a lot, I want to be comfortable. I want to, and it's manual seats, targeting man, moving forward. Like reclining seat, I must, pull the lever. Like, guys, in 2024, I will. It's like to peasant doesn't even begin to describe the way that I feel right now. No,
Mr. Mapos.
I'm gutted, bro. I wish I could work remote. That's how bad things are.
Okay. Welcome to what the rest of us call
get out of here, bro. Get out. Your car lights up with the VW logo. Get out of here. Like I've been in your car. It's a very nice
Wait,
drive.
can I
It's a very nice drive.
There's some things that you've listed here which I'm like, well, that's my life. I put my key into the ignition and turn it.
Really?
With my car's not a push to start. With my old car.
Oh, my bad.
It wasn't even. I didn't even have like central. It had central locking, but I didn't even have like a remote. It just had ignition and the driver's side open, right? First of all, I don't have a sunroof, so so I don't even know. I can't relate.
Panoramic.
I don't have leather seats.
My son could see up into the sky. Like he
my
even
seats
looks
are that
disgusted in
cushion.
the car.
My seats are that cushion material, so if I spill water,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yes, that's life. It's a manual, so it's not an automatic already. I don't have reverse sensor. I don't have cameras in the back. What else did you list that you are struggling with?
Also the cruise control. So what I could do, because obviously if the moment you hit the brakes, cruise control disengages, right? On its own.
Yeah.
In my normal car, all I have to do is just press the button and it'll still keep. So if I say cruise control was like 120 or whatever, 140 or whatever it is, right? If I just push the button after the road is cleared up, let's say I needed to overtake or move lanes or whatever, and then it'll go back to 120 on its own. Like here, if I disengage, I have to literally go back to 120 and then set it on 120, which is like, guys, that's just so unnecessary. All these systems can be automated. That's just my view.
Okay. Well, look, some cars will catch up.
Some of these should be industry standard, guys. No, honestly, some things should be industry standard, and it's sad. All I'm just saying is, when I calculated where I want to live, it was based on the fact that I enjoy driving. I don't enjoy driving, therefore my life kind of sucks right now. So that's all that I'm trying to say, guys. Like, I'm not shitting on anybody's car. I'm just saying, being forcefully moved from a car that you had to a car that you don't want is hard, right?
Yeah,
I didn't come out of the blue and just start listing random shit, guys. I'm just telling you what I'm going through at the moment.
Yeah, no, look, I understand. Even, Sam, to be honest, even adjusting to a new car, even if it's like a better car, if it's just not your car, that also can be a bit of a, because once you drive every single day, you start to you become at one with the car.
The better car adjustment is always a nice one. It's always a nice one, right? It's like, I can do this. Oh, this is nice, right? But going in the other direction, I That's a tough one. That one. That one is different. It's like going from Africa to America. I went from
yeah. Then it's an improvement and a change.
No, not even an improvement. It's the opposite. I went from financial independence to being broke. That's really what it is. From
in one
Leeds
flight
to America in one flight. From OR Tambo and then landing at Logan International Airport. It's a different ballgame. I immediately became poor. Like, that was depressing.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Did you watch Thingy's new special? Cat Williams' new special?
No, is it good? I haven't liked his last few.
Okay, it's not what people expected. I think after that Shannon Sharp interview, everyone thought, he's gonna come and he's gonna, like, all guns blazing, he's gonna tell us things that we didn't know, he's gonna set the house on fire, he's gonna bring more context to the stuff he said. Basically, he got there and he immediately said, you guys think I'm only gonna tell secrets about black people? No. And then he went into white issues and some of the race relations in America, which was interesting. I think it was a very mature stand-up performance.
So it wasn't funny?
You should check it out. It was funny. I laughed. But I think what people expected, do you know how with Chris Rock we're all like, okay, when's going to talk about the slap? What's going to say about the slap? We were all like, okay, what's he going to say about Oprah? What's he going to say about Steve Harvey? What's he going to say about Tyler Perry? But there was very little of that. So go into it with an open mind. Then maybe we can chat about it next time. But it was good. Look, I think it's decent.
Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it then. If it's there, I'm a jokes guy. So if I'm not gonna laugh,
no, there's jokes. There's jokes. It's just he's become older and he's become like that black uncle. Yeah, that's kind of where he is now.
Okay. I will let me see. I was watching a Bernie Mac special. A clip of it, like a 10-minute clip. I think I even sent it to you.
Yeah, the one where you said, ain't no way.
Yeah, no, that shit wouldn't fly. It was funny, but I was like, bruh, like, you guys were really moving like this back then. Like, it is, like, some of these other comedians, I kind of feel like maybe part of the reason, like Cat Williams, for example, is not as funny as he used to, is that the material he can work with now, like what made him funny and what he was able to joke about before, he can't joke about now.
You think so?
I think it's part of it. Like, I think, sometimes because you look at like a Dave Chappelle is unapologetic, right? And his comedy is still funny because he's still fighting with people. Like, he's still getting cancelled or whatever, but he's keeping things in his wheelhouse, and that's kind of sustained his greatness to a certain extent.
I think guys like Cat Williams struggle a bit because, when you're a young comedian, even Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock were like that. Like, if you look at their earlier material, it's very loud, it's energetic, it's there's a lot of gimmick in it, there's a lot of stage performance, and then I listen to Chris Rock now, is more controlled in delivery. Same thing with Dave Chappelle. The delivery is more, I'm spitting facts. I think Cat Williams
it's more sophisticated.
It's more sophisticated.
More complex.
It's more, But I think Cat Williams has struggled to move from that, I'm a clown, to like, hey, listen to what I have to say. Which was, I think, when he did that Shannon Sharp interview, it was like, okay, is this like the new phase of Cat Williams stand-up comedy? Are you going to be edgy, and are you going to just be telling the truth and not just a short man with the stool just performing and acting funny? Something I'm not sure if Kevin Hart will ever get to that point in his comedy. He's also a bit of a, short man with a stool, I'm a clown, watch me, I'll make you laugh. So I think there's guys who've struggled in their careers to transition to becoming, proper stand-up guys who are more controlled in the way they deliver comedy. But
fair enough. I think, who was I think? the comedy. Oh yeah, like for example, Andrew Schultz, like his shit is fire. Like, every clip I see of Andrew is just funny. Just
I
because
I was listening to some of his crowd work.
Yeah.
In the morning. This morning, I'm in the car, and I was like, "Hey, he's really good. He's really good. Although it's very inappropriate."
He's
but it's brave to say some of that
all
stuff.
Over the place.
It's brave for him to say some of that stuff in 2024. I think there's a joke I heard where he said, "Look, guys, people on the internet who find catchwords." He was basically saying, "Well, Israel was the the one bad investment from the Jews. All that land in the Middle East, and you pick the one with no oil."
That's funny. Funny.
They got there, they're like, "Okay, we're carving out land," or like, "Oh, we want overlooking the beach." Like, so is that why? Is that why you guys are now creeping more and more inland, trying to find oil?
No, that whole situation. I hit up MK because we need to discuss that because obviously his job is to know what's going on actually over there.
Really?
So I felt like it would be a better conversation with him involved. So one of these episodes we're gonna have MK on, and then we'll be able to discuss that with some professional detailing. But aside from that, Mr. Moore, I'm trying to see if I have missed anything. Oh yes, so I was listening to the Twimbos podcast last week, and they had It's Layered, the It's Layered podcast. They featured on their show.
Oh, big up to them.
One of the ladies mentioned something that literally shocked me.
Okay.
Also, Dan had a moment. I meant to tweet about this. I still might, but so they were discussing Russell Wilson, right? And then Dan interjects into the conversation, and he goes, actually, guys, you know what? Like, clearly, for me, I don't watch that much basketball." And I'm like, "Chief, you guys are talking about the NFL, not basketball." But anyway, that shit was funny. But so one of the ladies, I don't know who specifically had said this, but she said something along the lines of like, they were talking about masculinity, hyper masculinity, right? What's cool and not cool and shit like that. And she mentioned, I think she lives in like Poland or one of these Eastern European countries. She talked about like how to her it was surprising, like a pleasant surprise that like men are comfortable eating ice cream cones. And like, I was like, what? So, you know what I mean? So like, I don't know, like, because I hope I understood it correctly, because this is what I understood of it. She was saying, basically, because it was a comparison of like, I guess, Zim men, right? So I'm like, I don't know, Senna, are you uncomfortable eating an ice cream cone?
Nope.
Yeah, because I don't know.
Ice cream cone, I'll eat a banana.
I know, banana is kind of sus. Bananas, you have to, there's niggas know how to eat a banana. Like, if there's no knife in your hands, what are you doing?
You eat a banana.
You need to play with animal like dice in your hands, bro. Like, we all know that's the standard, guys. But like, I mean, but the ice cream thing really cool, because I love ice cream. That's the thing. Like, I've never heard like genuinely.
I mean, can I say
maybe
something?
I misunderstood.
No,
but I've genuinely not met someone who's uncomfortable. A man eating like an ice cream cone.
Okay, I'm not uncomfortable eating either. I'll eat an ice cream cone or eat a banana. But if there was one which you want to call sus, Mr. Maps, surely it's the ice cream.
How?
More than a banana?
Yes. A banana's mad, bro.
How is it mad? You bite
no.
If
you're comparing the two,
I can't believe we're having this conversation, honestly.
Yeah, me too. but it's a palate cleanser from that darkness that Kendrick and Drake gave us. But like, so here's my thing, right? An ice cream, like if you just go to Creamy Inn, like Nancy Dolayami, soft serve, please, right?
Yeah.
If anything, as a man, I take my time, because you know what that is? That is extra training time on your tongue game, nigga. If you feel, I'm telling you, honestly, here's my thing. If you feel sus eating an ice cream cone, my nigga, you are the problem. Because how are you eating the ice cream for it to feel a type of way? Because if you're out here deep throating an ice cream cone, then it's not an ice cream. That's you, my guy. That's you. If you're eating an ice cream properly, it's your tongue that's doing the work. And that's a point of pride. It's like publicly, you're basically flexing publicly. Like, hey, this what their mouth do. That's basically what you're doing, right? What their tongue do.
That's not what it looks like. Banana is different.
You're not licking a banana.
No, that's not what it looks like.
What do you mean? Sort of.
It's not what it looks like.
I never thought I'd ask you this question. How do you eat ice cream? Because I'm concerned now. I'm concerned. Because for me, when I eat ice cream, 99% of the work is done with my tongue. That's literally it. No, genuinely speaking. So, like, how are you niggas eating ice cream for you to think, oh my god, it's oh my god.
No, so what I'm saying, Mr. Maposa, is that I'll eat an ice cream, I'll eat a banana. I don't consider any of it sus. In fact, I'm comfortable in my masculinity enough to eat both without feeling some type of way, right?
Okay.
Now, for the purposes of this discussion,
which
one is more questionable?
Offside.
Right? Offside.
Yeah.
And I think an ice cream is more offside, just because
why?
The visualization of you're holding a cone, right?
Yeah.
And then you just licking it up the whole time. And then at some point it might melt, and then that's you catching it with your tongue. You know what I mean? A banana, I open it, I bite, it's done, right? It's not like I'm deep throating, I'm not licking it, I'm not sucking it. I bite it and then I eat it, right? There's nothing sensual about it. It has no, they call it.
Have you seen that clip on Twitter of that dude? There's a random guy, like he's sitting like on a park bench or something, and he picks up a sausage, and like it's an item that's like hanging, and he shows it to the camera. You haven't seen it?
No.
Oh my god, it looks so mad, dog. It looks so.
I haven't seen it. Send it to me. I haven't seen it. But I think with an ice cream. So basically, I think there's a term for this. They call this. I think the term is phallatic, because it stems from the word of fellatio, which is oral simulation of the penis, right? So they call acts like that phallatic, things that look like you are, doing.
But it doesn't. That's the thing. I really, again, I don't want to
ice cream
how
versus
many
banana.
Ice cream. But like you're genuinely making me question some things right now, because I'm
okay,
like, maybe said as weird, but guys, please add us and let us know. Like, is there anything compromising about eating an ice cream cup?
Okay, so let's say there's a guy, right? For the purposes of this conversation, we'll call him Puffy. Puffy is eating.
Why would you call him Puffy?
I'll come back to that. Now, if he's licking an ice cream and he's looking at you, or he's eating a banana and looking at you, which one would make you feel like, how, my guy? I think the ice cream.
But why are you making faces? Why are you making faces at a nigga when you're licking an ice cream like that?
No, I'm just saying which one would make you more uncomfortable.
Neither.
Not uncomfortable, but just like, oh, hey, that's, it's a bit phallatic.
No, neither. If you eat it right. If you're eating it right, then you gotta eat it right. That's the thing. You gotta eat it right. Like that's the way I'm going to put things across in this discussion.
I actually can't believe you framed eating ice cream as if like, women will be looking at you saying, okay, his tongue works.
No. Trust me, bro.
That's probably not the first thing they're going to say.
No. Like, here's what I'm saying. If you and that's the way that you have, like, I'm trying to put it in a way that's like, PG, but like you can have thoughts that come into your mind, right? Mm-hmm. That would be like, oh yeah, this kind of is like, eating that thing, right? So it's like, so in my mind, if that's what it's connecting to, I'm like, okay, cool, it's fine, that's cool, right? But if I was doing it, and that's what I'm saying, if you're having an ice cream and all of a sudden you start thinking about dick, the problem is you. Like, we're specifically talking about ice cream. The problem is you, because why are you thinking about dick, nigga? Right? Like, if that's not your thing, right? If it is your thing, then hey, bro, go for it. You know what I mean? Go for it. Have a party. But like, this thing of masculinity, like the fact that one of the ladies who was on the pod said she was seeing men eat ice cream cones, and she was like, oh wow, that's, these guys are comfortable in their masculinity. That blew my mind. Zim, man, what are you doing? And it's like, I don't know. I've honestly, all my time in Zim, I've seen so many, because I would go to Creamy Inn all the $1 that I ever had. Creamy Inn has a lot of $1 that belongs to me, right? I saw a lot of people would buy ice cream, dog. Yeah, so like I don't know, like I don't know, maybe, and I always say that Harare is different. I always say that. Maybe in age is a different story. But I can speak for Bulawayo and Bulawayo men. I've never seen someone intentionally not get a ice cream cone because it's kind of sus. And like, it's never been a joke. It's never been brought up. Like, genuinely speaking, up until I heard it on the pod, and again, maybe I interpreted it wrong, but like the way that I got it, I had never ever experienced anything.
No, but I'd heard the jokes, right? But I'd heard the jokes. So it's like toxic masculinity jokes where it's like, yeah, indoda mustn't eat a cone, indoda mustn't eat a lollipop, indoda mustn't eat a banana.
Yeah, lollipop, you can see.
But there are people...
Again, lollipop, banana, at least it's a quick bite, and, you keep it moving. But like, also when you're biting, it's kind of, where do you put... So that you take the first bite of the banana. Such a ridiculous discussion. But anyway, we're here, guys. When you take a bite of the banana, right? What do you do with the hand that's holding the banana?
What do you do with the hand?
Yeah, what happens with so you're still holding the banana, right? You bring it towards your mouth, you take a bite, and then what happens?
Then nothing. Then you just hold it.
It's just there looking at you.
No, it's not looking at you, it's just there. You're not doing anything.
That's what I'm saying. Banana looks for sus, dog.
You know what I've actually always felt is a bit, and the real niggas will hate this one, but I must say, and I'll come back to why I used that example. Cigars. I think cigars are very phallic. The way, the concept, the whole idea, tata this thing, and then uyayifaga, and then you like puff on it.
White tata, a white fucking white tata, white fucking white user.
Yes, and I didn't know this, right, until a few weeks ago when my wife and I were having a conversation about the whole Diddy thing, and then she's like, "No, but why do you think he calls himself Puff Daddy?" Yeah. And why do you think in all his videos he was always there with a cigar? I was like, damn. Is it like...
Yeah. How high were you niggas, bro? This is not reaching.
How high were you nigga?
Well, nah. This is gummy talk. This is gummy talk, nigga. I know.
It's not reaching.
I'm familiar. Aye. Nah, tell her to come back with another argument, please.
No, but if you actually think about it, why do people smoke cigars? Also, why does it have to be so thick? Why do you have to put it
That's
in
a
the mouth
Cuban,
like
though. A cigarette is tiny.
Hey.
It's thinner than your pinky finger.
The concept. Why did P. Diddy
No,
call
listen.
himself Puff Daddy?
A
And he was
Cuban...
doing these things all these years.
If you're talking about a Cuban, that kind of looks sus. I can see what she's saying, right? I can kind of fine.
No, I said cigars specifically.
Okay,
cigars.
cigar. Okay, so in my mind, when you said cigar, my mind went to cigarettes. That's why I was like, okay, whatever.
No, cigars, the thick ones.
Yeah. So I've seen. So for me, I'm still on the fence with that. But where it has kind of looked sus is when niggas are now sharing the cigar. It's like, hey yo. It's like, hey yo, guys, let's buy two, all right? It's
Tata Moyala.
Oh man, I swear. Anyway, guys,
and I think we've all had like a puff of a cigarette of a cigar, Cuban difference of a Cuban. Let me call it a Cuban. We all had a puff of a Cuban where like a Don or like an older guy, hey, try this, it's nice things, and I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah.
Which is cool, and I guess there's a status symbol. Like I think as men, we've marketed that very well. Like it's for the dons.
No. The cigar and your what's this thing called? Your aged whiskey. Yeah, that's the that's the big boy shit. So no dashing, no nothing, just on the rocks. Like me personally, it's not. Maybe I'm not at that level financially where it's not tasting good to me, right? But who knows? But that's just not gonna be my thing. Like I have a friend of mine who makes an effort to go to cigar lounges. That's his thing. That's the same way I'd be like, oh, let me go watch a movie, or oh, let me go do this. Like he's like, oh, let me go to the cigar lounge and enjoy. Like to each his own. You know what I mean? But like, yeah.
I don't think that ranks as. I think it ranks higher. For me, at least, I think it ranks higher than banana on the list. I think eating a banana is not.
No, but if you men are conscious about the ice cream thing, listen. It's your tongue that's meant to do the work. Like if you're out here deep throating ice cream, you're a psychopath and you should be arrested, and there should be a picture of you, creamy in, saying do not let this Negro in the door, because what are you doing deep throating ice cream? Like there's no way, guys. Like actually I've just remembered someone who did that, and I remember I was like, oh yeah, like, but it wasn't like from a sus point of view. It's like, who eats ice cream like this? You know what I mean? Like I was just like, bro, take your time. Like, don't rush. Don't put your mouth all over it. Like, just lick it. Just lick it. Oh man. Anyway, so let's do that. Siyazama. This is Siyazama. That's pending.
Okay. So, speaking of stealing stuff, I have a story for you.
Which one, Jen?
So this is from the episode where me and Mabs shared our trials dealing with people who stole from us back in the day, and how we navigated that and the audacity of it all. So man's girl, speaking of stealing stuff, I have a story for you. So back in high school, I had a flash drive with music videos. We could play the tunes at the computer lab from time to time. Other than that, I had no way of using the drive, as we didn't have much tech back then. I kept this flash drive in my pillowcase. Yes, awkward spot, but it worked for me. I never actually checked this flash drive, but I could just feel it in the pillowcase and I knew it was there. There was this girl we learned with, who was not in the boarding place, but rather day schooled from the teacher's residence, and was dating this guy from my hostel complex. Said girl would invite us to her place from time to time to watch football or just chill when her parents were away, and on this particular day, she said we should go there, and she was playing music from videos from a flash drive that looked like mine. But I didn't think much of it, because the very same day I had felt my flash drive still there in my pillowcase. You know those days, you knew what your playlist was like. Yes, back in school days, you know song 1 to 15, you know every song that's there. And this girl's playlist was exactly like mine, in the exact same order as it was on my drive. I became suspicious and asked, and she said the drive was part of a Valentine's gift from the BF, and she had it for a while. Later, I got back to the hostel and felt my pillowcase and flash was still there. Or was it? Just to confirm, I opened up the pillowcase, and to my surprise, this guy had swapped my drive for a Mighty Marker cap And all along, I was feeling the cab and not the drive. This guy has stolen quite a number of items before, including cell phones. And on this day, we confronted him and chose that we discipline him instead of reporting him to the school. I guess he chose. And boy, did we smoke that nigga. We had a gig that very same night, and Mans was as jolly as all of us, as if nothing happened. Talk of a thick skin. No, man. So I think what's fascinating about this one is the level of effort that went into it. Like, it's one thing to steal and then have someone believe that, okay, your thing is stolen, it's gone. It's another thing to steal and then after stealing it, replace the stolen item with a similar object, just so that the owner thinks it's still there. Like, that is next level malicious activity. That's a criminal.
Yeah, that's what. That's actually quite rude.
You know, in law, there's this term called dolus eventualis. It's called, you had the intention to commit a crime. Like, you thought about it, you planned for it.
Yeah.
You put measures in place. Like, there's no mitigating factors here. But yeah, man.
Conspiracy to commit a crime, because I like, that's to find a marker. No. I think everyone kind of has similar boarding schools or just high school or primary school stories where these kind of things happened. But yeah, no, the part where you mentioned Booty, when you hear the playlist, like, there's certain things that you just know. You look and you're like, nah, fam, there's no way. Like, there's no way that you are going from this song to this song. It's like, me and you just don't, nah, this has to be my Adam. Like, we're all individuals to a certain extent, you know, where it's like, yes, me and Senna might like the same music, but like, there's just
bar for bar, word for word, track for track,
bro.
Even those, because sometimes, you know, you got those songs that, okay, I know that if I created an Amapiano playlist, I'd expect, you know, Abalele, Izolo, Aglale, a couple other songs, even the newer ones. But then I might have that one gem that I know that this is just me. Yeah. Like, you wouldn't have the song just from your
that would be Ebu Nandini for you, I think.
Ebu Nandini.
That one. Yeah.
Okay.
That would be the track that I know, you know, this is Senna's flash track, because that shit had you in a chokehold for a while.
Bro, during COVID, by Ebu Nandini by Demtuda and Angelic. It's powerful.
Ebu Nandini.
Sometimes I miss COVID. You know, that illegal grooving. You know, where you're grooving, but then you know that you've got a curfew. Ish.
Yo, can't believe government put curfews on niggas for that shit. Was, hey, bro, we actually struggled back then. That shit was funny.
That was wild.
But what did I want to say? I think there was something that I wanted to shout out. But anyway, let's wrap it up, Mr. Moyo. We are done.
Yes.
Oh God, how did we do 2 hours? But yeah, final thoughts. Give me one sentence on Harry Kane.
Cursed. He's a very cursed man. Because it honestly, it's wild. If you actually look at it, his career, it's a joke. He starts off at Spurs as a young.
It's a joke.
No, it's actually, when you think about it, like you actually. I was reading an article about his disappointment throughout the years. He starts off at Spurs, then they send him out on loan because it's like, he'll be decent, but you know, we're not sure if he's good enough. He comes back through, I think Sherwood is the one who brings him back, and then he starts, and then he scores goals, right? Idiotically, I think, because he was an idiot for that, he then decides to renew his contract at Spurs for like 6 years at 23. Why would you do that? Okay,
money's.
No, but then if you were scoring goals at the time, you can't tie yourself to a 6-year contract at Spurs. Maybe 4 years, maybe 3 years, 6 years. Okay, because you know, at some point, if I have 3 years, at some point I can go somewhere else. Then he stuck at Spurs for 6 years. the best Spurs team over the last 10 years. They qualify for the Champions League final. They lose in the final. They qualify for the Carabao Cup final with Mourinho. Probably his best chance to win a trophy. They fire Mourinho before the final, and then they lose the final. He waits it out. A year before he can move, or 2 years before he can move, he tries to go to Man City. Tottenham say, no, stay at home. Man City going to win the treble. And then the next year he decides, okay, I'll leave and go to Bayern, a team that has never lost a league in 12 years. 12 years. They haven't gone trophyless in 12 years. What happens?
Yeah.
For the very first time, in his first year at Bayern, it's the first year they don't win a trophy. So that's why I'm like, ish.
I didn't want to forget about.
Yeah, man. He should have signed a 3-year deal, left Spurs when he was 25, 26. He would have won stuff at Man City, or even a cup or something
Anywhere else that he would have gone, any other club that realistically he could have gone to, he would have won some shit.
Something, even if it's a FA Cup, Europa League, whatever.
Or how do you think he's doing mentally?
I don't know, man. Because I'm not sure this Bayern team, because they're struggling to find a manager at the moment. I'm not sure they'll come out and win the league again next year in the same way as they have in the other years.
Nah. I think it's back to default settings. It's back to default settings after this season.
I don't know, man. What if Dortmund come back strong next year? What if Bayern Leverkusen is just as good next year?
The Bayern Munich is on PFA Germany. Like it's like I'm even shocked they let this happen this year. But you know, even when Dortmund was firing on all cylinders, when they had Goethe and Hummels, and he was very young, and Royce, all those guys, Bayern snuffed that shit out almost immediately. In one transfer season, said, all of you come here. Like, they took 4 of their best players. Like, it was mad. Like, it was just like, guys.
Yeah.
So I think something similar will go. They'll retool. They'll be fine. I think Bayern, it's okay. It's back to default settings. Let's see.
Okay. No, fair enough. I think one question I had, Tuchel.
Trash.
You don't rate him.
Yeah, I think I saw what he did with Chelsea initially was great, but I saw the slide cut. Like, when he got, that's the thing, like, with Chelsea fans, when they're going crazy, hey, how could we fire Tuchel? Like, they cut the cord quickly before we could see more, and what happened thereafter at Bayern was pure justification. One of the easiest leagues to win, and you crumble, right? You don't even give Leverkusen a battle right to the end. You just capitulate in a way that has not happened in over a decade. So,
but he would argue that
Bayern
Bayern was struggling from last season already with Nagelsmann. That's why they fired him.
Yeah, but again, you look at the names in that team sheet. You know, like it's still like something has to work at some point with that level of talent. Any other team with that level of talent, heads roll, fam. It's not because you look at, like, when Madrid was slipping, it was because they were transitioning from the Ronaldo era, the Benzema era. Like, players were getting older. The Toni Kroos is not Toni Kroos. Modric is not Modric. They needed the new blood, right?
Yeah.
So it's understandable that they got ran out of town a few seasons by Chelsea, then by City.
Yeah.
Who else? Same thing happened to Manchester United. It happened and they just never recovered. So we don't know what's going to happen there. But it happens sometimes when you have Barcelona. There we go. That's what I was thinking of. Like this, they're not yet even at their peak yet. Not back to where they should be, but they're coming back slowly. So that's where when I saw it was peak with Barcelona when they signed Traore, right?
Yeah, they signed that Traore.
The Monya. Yeah. When they said Traore, I was like, some of the cats I saw wearing a Barca shirt in the last 5 years. I guess
there's a lesson there
I can't.
There's a lesson there for every football club about mismanaging funds and buying Abo Coutinho for 100 million, and then I don't know whoever else they spent their wasted money on and high wages. Now look.
Yeah, no, with tears. But anyway, Mr. Moore, we have to leave it here. To the listeners who don't are not great fans of the football chat, at least we put it at the end this time. So you're welcome. I think we can leave it here. Shout out to, I don't know who I wanted to shout out, but it is what it is. I wanted to shout you out. As you know, guys, like the ting, subscribe to the ting, and retweet the ting. And if you don't, we're inclined to believe you're a hater.
Laters.